When the shoes don't fit my size, it's no surprise. What if you knew you could
Talk about each other. Like we can talk about you. You have an interesting story to tell.
Yeah,
Where are
I
you?
can do. We can do that. We can start with that, and then we can talk about something
Where are you right now?
at my crib.
Okay. So let me make sure we're ready to go here. All right. So can I tell people your actual name?
Yeah.
So this is my homie Andres, and he goes by Bohdi Rez. He is an artist. He is an entrepreneur. He's a philanthropist. He is very enlightened individual. Knows a lot about a lot. He's very well versed in all sorts of texts, Vedic texts, Buddhist texts. He taught Austin and I a lot of what we know as far as spirituality goes. And then he was taught by his dad by a lot of his stuff. And I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. So, Andres, what's up, man?
What's good?
How
What's
are you
good?
feeling in 2020?
How am I feeling? What?
In 2020.
Oof. I feel like a lot of people are feeling right now. I guess you can say like surprised. I'm very surprised by a lot of this. Even though I felt a lot of it coming, I didn't know it would be this soon, you know?
Oh, that's it right there. You just said it. Um, Man, okay, so there's talk about this thing that we feel it, right? We feel it coming.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and I think we got to talk about it, man,
I
because I
think
feel
it
it.
we definitely have to talk about it just even uh for awareness even, you know what I'm saying? For the people who are like, what the fuck are they talking about? My
Yeah.
cat, my thing is being charged, so my cat might move the camera.
Oh, that's okay. No big deal. I'm fiddling around
But
with stuff too.
but we definitely should talk about it because if people don't know what the fuck, they're like, what are they talking about? Then yeah, just it just needs to be there needs to be more awareness on it, you know, or it needs to be more talked about. If a lot of people feel it and we don't even know that we feel it, we need to connect. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Cause I'll tell you one thing, bro. When I went to that protest on the bridge on in Dallas,
Hmm.
one thing I did feel was the collective consciousness, bro. Like, and I know that's just a word that's thrown around a lot, but I felt it. And when we were like zip tied on the side or whatever, like we were just talking and shit, and like we were just, bro. It was like we already knew each other, but we, you know what I'm saying? It, you know what I'm saying? But everybody was talking to each other and they were talking about it, and I remember this one guy specifically because he looked like the people that they picture angels looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like blue eyes or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like this kid,
Okay.
I was just like, man, I was like, I saw you out there and I appreciate you like fighting as hard as you were fighting. And then he was like, yeah, man. He was like, that's what we're here for. And he was like, and like as soon as he said that, like we were just making so much eye contact, we started talking about it. And then he was like just talking about, I mean, things you have talked about in your previous podcasts, you know, like I guess government things and things that used to be conspiracies, I guess you can say, you know. We were
That
talking
word
about,
that no one likes to hear, right?
yeah, we were talking about it, and I just felt really connected. And he was like, "Yeah, man, it's time for us to just connect because we know that it's here, but we don't know what it is, and we feel it. And like the obviously most people that go to the protest have to feel it. Most people, you know what I'm saying?
I feel it too,
Um,
bro. I feel it at every protest I'm at. Like, and we talk about it just like you're talking about. Like, you
it's
know,
just
when you're there, bro, you have this wave of, it's not just emotion, it's more than emotion. It's this connection that you feel with the people that are out there in the streets, and you can feel why they're there. You maybe can't articulate it, you maybe can't put it in words, but you just look at them and you're like,
yeah.
I can feel it. I know you're here for a real ass reason.
And some of them don't even know why they're there.
Yeah, that's true.
They just feel like
Yeah.
because I talked to some people that are like I just felt the need to come support for some reason, you know what I'm saying? And I just felt that I needed to come experience this for some
It's a
reason.
pull. It's an energy,
Yeah,
man. It's a
cool.
pull. And it's pulling the country together. And the news is trying to spin it like it's pulling us apart. I think it's very much the opposite. I see
Yeah,
a lot of people coming together right now.
yeah, especially people are around our age. And it all depends, like what, and this word gets thrown around a lot too, but what frequency you're on, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
to the point, like you feel it more and more and more, and like you kind of know what it is. I mean, dude, Moses was a conspiracy theorist, you know,
Yeah.
if you believe in that, but even whatever way you believe in that, um, you could think of it as like a like not an actual story, but you can think of those stories as like just like a way of learning, like a way, like examples, but like they didn't actually happen. It's just they writ them down because people go through the same shit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Some people look at them as just parables, as stories. I was hearing someone who was talking about who's someone who went to school for religion, right? They went. What's the study called? The same degree that pastors get before they
Oh,
become pastors,
yeah.
and I guess they were talking about how they learn in college that the scripts, like all of the Old Testament, is lore.
Mm,
It's lore. It's storytelling,
yeah,
fable,
exactly.
and every pastor ever knows this
Yeah,
and chooses not to say anything about it.
I wonder
Now,
why.
now, for those Christians that are literally freaking out and saying blasphemy, blasphemy, relax. We're here to share opinions, and we're here to. I'm just spitting you a cold fact. You don't need to be
Yeah.
mad about that. That's a
Well,
cold fact.
it's not like for the people that feel that way. It's not that we're blasting or we're trying to point fingers or anything, because at the same time, like I feel like everybody in a way is doing that in some, like every religion does that in some way.
Yes, absolutely.
Every religion does, you know what I'm saying? And it's just told different ways, you know.
Mhm.
It's just told different ways.
And that doesn't go to say that Jesus wasn't a real person. No, I've never even met an atheist that wants to argue about Jesus being real or not. Everyone pretty much accepts that he was real. We accept that Muhammad was real, and these other guys, the Buddha, you know. But
Of
yeah,
course.
I agree.
Of
So this
course. Yeah,
thing that's happening in
because Buddha was a prince, you know what I'm saying? Like Buddha was an actual prince.
yeah.
That if people need a, like, I know there's a lot of people that feel connected to Buddhism, and if they haven't looked into it, like I would say look into it. You know?
Buddhism's really cool, and even if you're a
I
Christian,
wouldn't never worship or like, you know what I'm saying, follow, because all that, all of like, I feel like its teaching is to follow self. You know what I'm saying? It's to follow self, and I wish we could spell self CELLF, because we are like we all are cells and atoms. You know what I'm saying? And if we spoke in a different way, language is very powerful, bro. It's spells. You know what I'm saying? That even in that word alone, like spell, you spell things like it's a spell. You know what I'm saying? So the way we talk puts us at a certain frequency. Just the same way the certain frequencies that we listen to put us in a certain frequency. Just how they change the frequency of what we listen to on the radio. I know a lot of people are starting to be aware of that. There's a natural frequency and a frequency that's not natural.
well, that's what Om with meditation. I know you know this, but a lot of people don't. Om, you know, you hear that chant actually represents the frequency of the universe. That is what is referred to as Om.
And if you actually do it, have you actually like gotten to that vibration where you're doing it, like where you're
like draw the
oming?
symbol?
No, where you're oming, like where you're making the actual noise with yourself.
Oh, no, I haven't done it. I've experienced something kind of similar, but no, I assume you have though.
Yeah.
Is it nutty?
Yeah.
So think of it this way, viewers. Hang on, real quick. So my hands are sweaty, man. Jeez. Talking about real stuff here.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of it as being a glass, like a wine glass made of crystal, right? And when you're doing that whole thing with it, where you're making it make noise based off rubbing it. You could also think of it as a singer who is hitting a note, and when they match the frequency that the glass is existing in and resonates in, it ends up conflicting with itself and it breaks, right?
Yeah.
Now, instead of it breaking, what ends up happening is you become one with that frequency, right?
Yeah.
And instead of clashing, you all of a sudden agree with this frequency that the universe literally exists in.
Yeah. Dude, you just said that in such a way that I've never heard it. that was dope.
But I think that's what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, that's why people say one so much. It's one, bro. It's one frequency. Like, that's why when people take shrooms and shit, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people get there in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because the only way I mean, to be honest, the only reason I ever smoked weed was because when I was just growing up, like observing, you know what I'm saying, learning you know what I'm saying, like observing things from life, like, because I wasn't taught very much about like drugs and shit like that, and natural herbs and anything. Like, it had to just come to me, you know, like the universe just, like, I had to learn it through my experiences rather than learning it from people or like a source or like YouTube or like the internet or some shit like that. But what's it called? Fuck, I forgot. What was I saying?
You're talking about connection and being one.
Oh yeah.
And shrooms helping people get there.
Yeah. So when I was smoking, I wasn't gonna smoke, bro. I wasn't gonna smoke. I even promised one of my friends. I was like, nah, bro. Everyone said that's a drug and shit. Like, my mom said that's a drug, bro.
Right.
But I thought it was bad. You know what I'm saying? And then until in health class, actually, we had to choose a drug. Like, we had to choose a drug to talk about, and we had to like pick the benefits and the like the pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? So I chose weed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna choose weed. And the teacher was like, pulled me to the side after class, and he was like, hey, you might have to choose another drug. And I was like, how come? He was like, because there's really no cons, bro. He was like, there's really no. I was like, he was like, wait, I'm not. He was like, I'm not saying smoke. I'm not saying smoke, but I was like, oh shit, bro. The next day, I said, hey. The next day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna smoke, bro. The same thing with shrooms, like, until someone enlightened me with like how natives used to do it spiritually, and how people do it spiritually. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, you know.
Well, I think people don't realize, man, is, you know, there have been gifts given to us by what most people call God, and they grow from the freaking ground. And they are enhancers, they are doorways to allow us to find out, you know, everyone wants to know what the freaking meaning to life is.
Yeah.
Bro, take 2 hits of anything we're talking about, and you'll find out real freaking quick, real fast.
I mean, you're gonna find out you're fucking. I'm sorry if a lot of people are afraid of this word. I don't know if they believe it. That I don't know what word they might use for it, but it's most known as demons. They get to know their demons. You know what I'm saying? They get to know themselves. They get to know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, like what they think about the most. What you think about the most is gonna take you on whatever trip you go to. You know what I'm saying? So if you are in that trip, worried about work, worried about tomorrow, and like having to do some shitty shit, or like, you know, like just being like, damn, life sucks, or damn, I don't want to go to work, or damn, like, nah, bro, you gotta go into it like feeling like you're gonna go on the most badass vacation ever. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
the most positive.
I think that's the biggest thing, is it's like, it's the education behind it. Like, that's why the narrative gets spun to tell people that these things are really bad for you. And I've seen brain autopsy scans where people who did this much, who did LSD had like holes in their brains. Okay, listen, those government studies, they captured those people and ran them through like ungodly amounts of LSD, like more LSD than someone should ever take in their life. Ever.
Yeah.
And then they gave that to you as textbook knowledge and says, this is what LSD does to your brain. That's bullshit, America. That's nonsense.
He said America. Look, they did that with weed too. They did that. They tested it with monkeys in there with like gas, and like they put like so much, bro. Like literally, it was like 100 joints, like at a time, just fucking.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
dude. If you know someone who can smoke 100 joints in a day, I would love to shake their hand.
Not even that. It was 100 joints like per 10 seconds. Like.
Oh my, yeah, dude. Just like hitting them with giant concentrated. You know what I'm saying, guys?
It.
Like that's not what the industry is about. Like one time I was asked a question. Derek, how do you know that someone isn't lacing that with cocaine? I've been asked.
But it's based off of fear. So it's like, how do we make the people scared? That's everything. You know what I'm saying? That's why
my answer to that is like, do you realize how counterproductive that is for them to do that with weed? Like maybe with other things that's one thing, but with weed, do you realize how much money they're wasting by lacing their drugs with it? They don't got time for that. And weed makes you hungry, happy, sleepy, dude. Weed doesn't make you violent or evil. If I was trying to buy anything from someone doing PCP, then maybe we can have that discussion. But you walk up to a pothead, bro, they don't want to fight.
Exactly. They're like, nah, bro, you know what? Just go away, bro. I need to get some fucking snacks or some shit.
But to your point, like it's a lot of people lack the understanding that they have so much control over what it is they're going to see. And that's outside of any hallucinogens or anything that alters your mind. That's being stone cold sober. If you are constantly like, here's one thing I really wish people would stop doing, and as a whole, is their way of conversation is they find something to complain about. Like complaint is how they find ways to. I'm like, bro, just don't say anything. For real.
That type of person.
If you don't have anything positive to say, don't say anything. Let it be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, that's just programming, you know? That's programming. I don't know. That's annoying. And like, just when people, I don't know if listeners right now, like, I'm not trying to offend nobody, you know what I'm saying? Sports are amazing, you know. I mean, I don't really watch movies or shows like that, except I like Oscar-winning shit. You know, I like to watch some award-winning movies. I like to watch some good act. I like to watch some funny shit. But every now and then, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, if people are only talking about like other people's thoughts, like TV or even just sports, or like arguing about why LeBron's better than fucking MJ all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, debate about something else that's gonna evolve yourself. You're 30, you're 25, you're 23, and you're still talking about that shit while LeBron is at home eating some fucking bacon and eggs and waffles and fucking with his wife and family having an amazing time, not caring one fucking bit in the world if he's better than Michael Jordan or not. He does, but he's not thinking about it at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he thinks about that when it's time to think about that.
When it's time to think about that, bro. It's like people consume themselves with so much outerness. There's never innerness. There's never self. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who are you, bro? Oh, well, I like this. I like this. No. Who are you, bro? It's like, what do you mean? I'm Jacob. All right, John Jacob Jr. Hammersmith. It doesn't matter matter what your name is, bro. Who the fuck are you, bro? You know what I'm saying? And people get uncomfortable when I start speaking in a way like that, because it's uncomfortable. People like to be comfortable. That's the thing. That's how you grow. is being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
being comfortable being uncomfortable.
yeah, people like having other people's thoughts in their head and talking about TikTok and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever is in the air, they talk about it.
Yeah, whatever's in the air. And look, if we're at, if we're having a kickback and the point of what we're doing is to let loose and relax, then you know what? Show me that funny
We'll do
TikTok,
it.
bro, because I bet that shit's hilarious.
Exactly.
You know, but
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
but is this what we're gonna talk about all day, in and out?
Yeah, all day in and out. Cause like literally, that's great. We're high. You know what I'm saying? We done like if okay, you got to deserve to talk about that shit. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
you gotta earn it. Yeah,
You got to earn it.
you
You got
gotta
to
earn
earn
that
it.
fun dumb shit.
Yeah, like did you work or you know what I'm saying? Did you do some work not just for the 9 to 5, but for yourself?
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Can I give an
saying?
example? Actually,
Yeah.
so today I reached out to you, right? I've posted. I'm working on my third YouTube video that'll be posted today. This will be the fourth one. I wasn't done. Like I literally found myself. It was about 5 or 6 o'clock. I had done more work in the day than I knew that I'd be satisfied with. I was like, cool. But then I saw your name pop up on my Snapchat while I was just taking a quick mental break, and I was like, we need to do this podcast. And I looked at the time. I was like, it's 6 p.m.
Early.
And you hit me up. You said, what time? I said, right now o'clock.
Yep.
And we were on the meeting 5 minutes later. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
But I
Because
think
if you
something
don't
else
make
that you were talking about is like people are afraid to face themselves, man. And what I tell people, whenever they smoke weed for the first time, or maybe they've, done a hallucinogen for the first time, or something that allows them to see a demon for the first time, and they're like, I
Mhm.
had a bad trip. I saw a demon. I love to sit there and tell them, be like, nah, you saw yourself, motherfucker.
Exactly.
You saw
Exactly.
yourself. And that's why, and then you want to write off, the experience as if it was a bad trip. No, you're a bad person. And I loved you,
Yeah.
but you need to love yourself enough to accept what's going on here.
Yeah. And it might not just be that you're a bad person, but you're consumed with bad
And that's a
thoughts.
really good way to put that, actually.
Yeah. Because you can be a good person, but you can be consumed with bad thoughts, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like most people like that are like, like I mean, even the people that act happy and are actually depressed inside, there's people that act depressed but are actually good ass people inside. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just what your thoughts are consumed of,
Mm-hmm. And it's really our generation that's doing it. But as we grow and as we move and as we become more aware and enlightened, and I know the old heads do not know what those words mean. They think they do. They think they
Yeah.
know what aware and enlightened means. And I'm sorry, guys, like y'all are missing it. And it's not even your fault. You're literally missing a piece of DNA. We have 3 strands of DNA.
Exactly.
The new generation does. We have a triple helix. Look it up if you think I'm lying.
Yeah.
We have some
Genetic,
abilities that the
DNA,
older
all that
generation
shit
doesn't have.
matters.
Yeah,
You
it,
said
it, it
what?
really does. We have some abilities that the older generation doesn't have, and we're blessed because we grew from that. We came
Yeah.
from that. But anyway, so there's this thing that's happening, and no one can really put their finger on it. It's a change. It's a shift in consciousness. Humanity is changing.
Yeah.
We're coming to terms with who we are as people. More and more people are starting to be okay with who they are and starting to get to know themselves. And because just like the Bible says, or maybe it's ancient text, maybe not, let me not misquote, but I think therefore I am. To know
Yeah.
yourself is to know God in the universe.
Yep.
And the more people that know themselves, the more godly we will end up being. And the closer to godliness we can be, the more utopic our society will become.
Cool.
All this Black Lives Matter stuff won't need to happen. Poor people
Exactly.
won't be a thing. You will be born into this world so privileged, and you will be taught from the day you are born to be thankful for it.
Yep. And tell me this, bro. I felt this, and I've heard people talk about it now. Like when people connect and they actually start talking about these things, they talk. Tell me that things have felt a little different since 2012, or have you not felt that shit?
I have felt that. And I read that somewhere recently too.
And I haven't read it anywhere because I feel like they wouldn't put that out there, but it might be out there. But I've talked to people and they've told me without me saying anything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, it's like when the Mayans or whatever they predicted the world to end. Like something happened, you know, because I feel like the ancestors are back, the real ancestors. You know,
Like
the
Thoth?
huh?
Like Thoth?
Thoth, who's that?
Or are you talking about like Inky and Enlil? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about all of our ancestors when we were at a, like you said, euphoric time.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in a euphoric, like the pyramids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like the ancestors that were spiritual. The real spiritual part of humanity is coming back. You know, we're collectively coming together, like you said, and we're like, if we the eyes are the window to the soul, bro, and they're trying to get us away from that. They're trying to get us away from looking up to the stars, to the sky, to the sun. They're
Into
getting
the
us,
phone.
into the phone. They're getting us away from looking at each other. They're getting us away from nature, bro. The only way to really get there is connecting to nature. The only way to really get there is grounding yourself. You might know things, you might feel connected, you might feel the energy, but bro, until you actually connect yourself to the earth and stay connected for a period of time, you will see the Most High, bro. You will feel the Most High. You gotta, what you are is what you eat. I saw you put a post earlier about that. What you put in is what you are. Like
What you get out. I
even
was eating sushi, man. That sushi was
exactly.
not cheap.
So
I got it because it was healthy.
for a reason,
Right.
you know, just like why a quarter pounder is cheap as shit, you know. But they like literally we're disconnected from Mother Nature, and that's what really is it. That's what it is. It's that's the
So
frequency.
let's talk about that for a second.
That is
Because,
the highest frequency, bro.
yeah, well, for people who think we're talking about a bunch of hippie shit right now, this is universal. This
It's
is
universal. This isn't, yeah. That
like,
they put a title to it for some reason.
right, yeah. And they like, don't associate what we're talking about with smoking weed. Stop doing it because you don't need it to get there. You don't need anything we're talking about to understand what we're talking about. You just need to stop acting like you know what we're talking about because you don't.
Exactly.
What it is,
And connect.
yeah, and have a real open conversation. If you can humble yourself, humility is really where that high frequency starts. Once you humble yourself to the cell, like you're talking about, and realize that you are just a cell in billions, really infinite number of cells. And the reason why it gets so big is because we're not just talking about humanity here. Everything that is life is connected. Like there's a reason you feel a special connection to your dog. There's a reason why you know your dog's bark versus a different dog that is the exact same breed. You know you're not hearing that bark differently. You are feeling that energy differently.
Yeah.
You feel the energy of something you are connected to. We are all connected. I know you know this, but people don't. The grass, the trees, the air. If it's living, and even non-living things have their place. But if it's living, bro, you can tap into that energy, just like we were talking about with the Om earlier.
I mean, we're one. We're one. We are the same. We are it, bro. We're one. So as just your frequency needs to get higher. That's it. The more you unplug, bro, the more you unplug. The more you unplug.
So does this mean that I need to quit my job?
Oh, that's a great question, dude. That is a great question. Wow, that's a great question. I did. I risked it. Fuck a risk. It's not even. I don't even like that word, bro. I did it. I did it.
Right.
You know, like I said, I felt it. I mean, if you feel it that much, that you literally need to unplug yourself that much, that is something telling you something. You always got to follow your gut, bro. Trust me.
Well,
So
and if that's not for you, right? Like, what my point to asking you was that is it's ambiguous. Is if that's what you're feeling, that's what you need to do, which is what you did. But
it's not for everybody.
right, but like, so, but you also don't need to just like dive right into it. I mean, I've worked a job a long time, and I'm very in tune with Mother
Oh yeah.
Nature. I'm very in tune with myself. Like, I almost see it as like, I want to be out there in the world in all of that nonsense so I can help combat it. So I can help be a good influence on people. I can't influence others if I'm out, in my cabode, like in the middle of nowhere.
That's why I came back.
Yeah.
That's why I came back, bro. Um, if not, I would be speaking to you from fucking Costa Rica with trees behind me, banana trees. I would be showing you my garden right now.
Right.
But I I came back, bro. I came back to Babylon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We need you, man. Need you, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't do it without you.
I feel like we can't do it without each other, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
and dude, I feel so like every time I look at a homie like you or like Austin or my boy Vontae, my boy Charles, like Terrence, I'll name drop all of y'all if you want me to. But when I look at my closest friends, man, I'm like, bro, you are so important. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, bro, you are so important.
we're reflections of each other.
Yeah, dude, it's like I see you guys when I look at it's like I see myself whenever I look at
Yeah, yeah,
and
we're
because I love
reflections.
myself and I see so much in myself, and then when that's reflected back at me through my friends, bro, that is the coolest thing.
Yeah, that's the best feeling ever. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's feeling it. You're like, okay, I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but like you said, everyone has a different journey. Not you don't have to. What was that? Dang, there's like a little weird bark outside, like a little chihuahua or
Okay.
something. No, I got some big old dogs that
You do.
but everyone has a different journey, like you said. Not everyone needs to dive in it. Some people do. Um, if you can handle Babylon like that and balance yourself and to tap yourself into nature at the same time, dude, fucking go at it. Like I suggest that because that's, I mean, if that's for you, like I said, that's for you. Whatever's for you is for you, and do what you think you want to do and feel what you want to feel. You know what I'm saying? And emotions are important, and don't ignore them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to face them, and even if it's like shit, you got to take that shit. But you can't lose your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you lose your shit, that's when you start going downhill, and like that's when anxiety kicks in. After anxiety kicks in, depression kicks in. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
emotions they're great indicators, but they're horrible dictators. They're
Mm,
awesome at indicating when shit is fucked up,
mm.
but
Yep.
they are not good at dictating what we should do about it.
Yeah. That's up to us.
Yeah, and that's where you gotta find the balance, right? You gotta bring your mind into play. Your mind is different from your heart. They work together, but they're separate entities, and you have to understand which one. And it takes practice. Like you have to get used to listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Because
no
you're
wonder
above
you
it
don't know
all.
which one's talking. You've never tried to figure it out.
You're above all of it.
Right. And you are. You're even above those two entities. Your mind and your heart belong to you.
Exactly. They're yours.
You don't belong to them.
Exactly. And that's what most people have struggles with, I feel like. You know?
I think it's really hard. Well, man, it comes down to just
Because it's such a
this
powerful feeling.
information. Yeah.
It's such a powerful feeling that you're like, there's no way that this is so real. This is so
Mhm.
real. How do I deal with this?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've just gotten to the point in society where it's so bogged down in the information. Like hearing this kind of talk is so. People literally think people, you guys like you and I are wild.
Mm-hmm.
They think we're crazy. I mean, really.
But it's
Not
not
everyone,
us.
but
It's
a lot of
not.
people.
that's why I don't like my name is my name, bro. That's why when you ask me if you want to say it, I'm like, yeah, bro, I am what I am. I am. That's what I am. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like Andres, Bohdi, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It is that so those people that don't understand it's because they have a ego, you know what I'm saying? They have a little ego, which ego is good in a way, but you gotta control that shit. You know, you gotta like it's not us, bro. It's a collective consciousness. Like, bro, we didn't even know what we were gonna talk about.
I know, and here we are. We got
and I
4 minutes left. We're out of
and
time.
and I didn't even care. And I didn't even care because I knew it was gonna happen. What was it? I don't know. I just knew it. You know what I'm saying?
What
Just,
was it?
you know what I'm saying?
You kill
Flow
me, dude.
like Bruce Lee, bro. Like we gotta flow like water, literally. You know?
Mhm.
Like you're like, what's the topic? I don't know, but hey, if you want to introduce me. Like I'm going with it. You know?
And
We're
it's
here.
that easy.
And
When we can exist on this frequency, and it's not about who's on a higher frequency. You and I are both on a high frequency at a level to where we can understand each other. We have
exactly.
3.5 minutes left. Let's talk about our music. So you have 2 songs out right now. I can't remember the name of the first one. Otra Noche.
Yeah, es otra noche.
Es Otra Noche, which is a great. There's some English in it, but it's I
Spanish.
really don't care for Hispanic music, but I really like that song. I think it's got a really good beat. I think it's awesome. The song I like by you the most is something that I had a big personal part in. It's called "Run, Forrest," and
Yeah.
we actually kind of touched on the topic of what that song's about here.
Oh,
Andres is saying a lot of things in this song, but a big thing that you'll pick up on is he's saying, "Run, Forrest, run," because the city is coming for you.
yep. Babylon.
Babylon, Babylon is
Babylon.
for you.
It's the same
And
message, bro. I feel like I was Bob Marley or something. Because it's the
that
same.
song is so it is.
It's
It's
the
very Bob
same
Marley.
message, you know. It's the same message like that. Once you get to, you know, once you like want to spread that, like you just literally have to let people know that, hey, what Babylon is, you know. So like that's why I love that song, and that song just came to me just like this podcast. It was a freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna drop that in the description below. That's on SoundCloud. It's a great song. It's almost got 1,000 plays on it. So it is. It's not no joke. And I mean, me and my buddy Devin mixed it. So it's definitely a high piece of quality. Thank you, man. Thank you. And beyond that, I'm gonna keep working with Bohdi as we move forward in our music careers, and we're gonna keep this thing pushing, man. All we really can do at the end of the day is share our ideas and talk about things.
Yep. And connect.
So, yeah, and connect. All right, man. That's it. That's all the time we have, bro. So I appreciate you, bro.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right, bro.
All right, dude.
Hey.
Peace, bro.